What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the debut album by Ali of Saint Lunatics. Basically, this product is called Heavy Starch, and it came out in the spring of 2002. So the thing about this particular product here is this is the after effect of Nelly off of his popularity that happened in like the early 2000s. Basically, the Saint Lunatics had been trying to blow up as far back as like the mid-late 90s as far as those pitch going to happen. When Nelly came on the scene, like the early 2000 years, as far as those first going to happen, they had a particular string of hit singles, a few of which introduced like the Saint Lunatics. Then in mid 2001, Saint Lunatics dropped their true debut album. They had like a pseudo kind of rough draft album that came out like in '98, something like that, pitched like that. But the Free City album from 2001 was a pretty relative big deal about it. At least went platinum. Had a few minor singles on there that did some relative damage within the pitch. But then Nelly was going to come back on the scene like the summer of 2002. But they also around the same time introduced like members of the Saint Lunatics further out as far as this pitch can happen. Now, I don't know what happened to Kujan. As I want to say that Kujan didn't ever really drop an album, but I look within the pitch behind it. Murphy Lee dropped an album in 2003 and virtually did get like a number one with Shake Your Tail Feather, which was a pretty big deal around that year. But Ali kind of came on the scene a little bit before that in early 2002, even before Nelly dropped his second album, Nellyville. So some good type pitches here. There's a lot of real low key kind of bass guitar heavy type stuff that has a lot of good accents about it. It's a real murky type one that just feels like an alternative in like a commercial sense to something that Tech Nine and Cut Calhoun kind of do within those pitches. Just the same sort of extra thoughts, kind of rumination, good type of appeal. It's just the concept of just basically like a Nelly album without like the commercial pizzazz about it, I had to say. Particularly his hit single off this product, Bugetto, was a pretty nice one within the pitches behind it. But I want to say that for the most part, it didn't seem like this single charted that heavily too bad within the pitches behind it. This felt more of like a single that you would have gotten from Tech Nine out of 2002 or 2003, just for the appeal. Now, I'm not sure if this album went gold or something like that, or if it sold like 100,000 copies, something within that relative type pitch. I think I would have to say off of the offshoot of Nelly's popularity, especially around the time when this album dropped, which was right as Nelly was dropping like his hit single Hot in Here as far as this first going to went, and he was still cresting up a Free City a little bit on top of that. It's just within the appeal. I think this did catch some of the extra wave of Nelly's popularity. It's just kind of within the pitch that this album does not really have like a full bound kind of commercial smash or something that can really break into like the stardom. This is a lot more just within relative hardcore type territory. I saw on like a review as I look this review up on like Rate Your Music and pitches like that. There were a number of folks that reviewed this particular album. There was at least one person that said that they felt like this. A brief description they said about this particular product, they felt like this was kind of a goon bag as far as this pitch kind of went. I don't feel like it's full bound amongst that aspect that is particularly goon bag full blown related, but it is kind of within the pitch. It is more low key. It is kind of just more low key, kind of appeals within the aspect of just like some neighborhood romps and just more stuff that's just like a commercial version of the stuff that Tech Nine was going to do. It's just within the pitch behind it. But this album is going to get a classic score because out of 15 songs on this particular product, I wound up recommending 13. This as the virtual, damn near wholesome concept about this product here. Now, there are some bonus songs tacked onto this particular record. On the Spotify edition, it just puts like 4 songs combined into one at the end to make like a 23-minute song, which is the concept. I listened to these songs out of the 3 bonus songs. I wound up recommending at least 2. So the only real 2 songs I don't recommend in any fashion out this product would just be the song, basically the song Beast, and then the song St. Louis Alumni within those pitches. But I just look after it here, just basically being able to say within some of those type of aspects that this album is going to get a 10 out of 10. It's just within the pitch. I like the low key appeal about this product. I like the low key appeal about this product. This has a refreshing kind of context as far as getting towards some of these. It's like, I mean, despite the fact that Ali was kind of like a pretty big affiliate of Nelly, it just doesn't have as much full bound. Like really, Nelly is not humongously kind of on this product as much as he was kind of on like the Murphy Lee product. I noticed in later days, like around these recent times, 2023, 2024, 2025, that Nelly has a little bit of animosity with Ali as far as this pitch can happen. Now, Ali was on Nelly's number one single, Grills, as far as this pitch can happen, so he did get a number one himself, and he kind of was one that was, it's interesting that he was like the I always thought that Murphy Lee kind of felt more of like the second banana to St. Lunatics, but it's an interesting type pitch that Ali actually put out his album beforehand, just in the pitch behind it. So in some senses, it might have been seen that Ali was like the true second banana as far as this fair is going to happen, despite the fact that Murphy Lee just caught on a little bit larger within those pitches. Just songs like What the Hook Gonna Be and Shaky Tail Feather, some of those type pitches that I'd say. But it's just within the appeal. Ali did come out first and had some good aspects here as far as doing that, but it's just kind of the concept that this particular album nails the appeal. It's just an aspect as far as saying that it doesn't have a super ton of Nelly affiliation. I mean, Nelly is on here like at least 2 or 3 times, but it's just within the pitch. If you're expecting something like Mammoth hit like Ride With Me or Country Grammar Hot Shit or Batter Up or some of those type of ones, or EI, some of those type pitches, or even like Midwest Swing, some of those type pitches, just doesn't really have it as full bound. But I will say that Bugetto is like a pretty good buzz single. So speaking of Bugetto, this is the only single off this product seemingly within the pitch. There might have been like a few extras within a mild type sense if the promotion was a little. I mean, I'm not as full bound sure because there's just not a super ton of information. Like Ali does not have like a wiki article about him within those fairs. I mean, I think Ali and Gip does, but Ali is like a solo artist by himself, doesn't. So this album's kind of a little bit trickier to track down within that pitch. But I do know at least that Bugetto was a single. So Bugetto's like a romping kind of low key buzz single kind of get here. Just a venue hop and like a residential out kind of sense that I'd say about this one. Just a neighborhood glitz kind of get here. This just feels like something that Big Scoob or Cut Calhoun or Tech Nine would have done back in 2003, 2004, 2002. The appeal, the glamour about Bugetto just feels like something that Tech Nine or Big Scoob or Cut Calhoun would have done in like the early 2000s as far as this pitch kind of having just that same sort of local hole in the wall kind of pub hopping pitches like that as far as those aspects going to go. It is pretty nice venue type bop to kind of get here, but it's a pretty stark difference between especially like Nelly with Country Grammar and like EI, some of those type ones, and it's a little bit of it's like 2 or 3 steps beneath like the commercial glitz of like a song with like the commercial appeal like Midwest Swing, which is more of just kind of like a fifth or sixth single by Nelly and like a buzz single sense off of like the 2001 days. So it's just within the pitch. So I'd probably say in terms of like the commercial appeal, if like Country Grammar Hot Shit and ER like tens out of 10, and then like I would say that Midwest Swing by Saint Lunatics is like a 7.5 or mild 8 out of 10, 7.25, something like that in terms of its commercial appeal. I'd probably say that Bugetto is probably like a 4 or 5, 5.25, something like that. It's not to say it's not. I'm not rating that song in terms of quality. I mean, this album's going to get a 10 out of 10, but it's just the pitch, like the commercial aspects as far as like the widespreadness. It's real nice neighborhood type romps within the pitch. It's something that Cut Calhoun, one of those type folks, would have done around that time. But yeah, so I recommend every song on here, like I was saying, minus just Beast and then St. Louis alumni. So talk about those. It's basically Beast was just kind of a neighborhood type one. Just felt like some extra time just within the pitches, but just didn't nail the appeal. I feel like some of these aspects, this is the sort of song that if Tech Nine would have done or Cut Calhoun, some of those type folks, they probably would have knocked out of the park just with the pitch behind it. But just within the appeal, just didn't really have the glamour. Just felt like some kind of just neighborhood, just kind of Aaron type music. But the production fair on that one was just not snappy enough to really warrant like something of this. I feel like this particular album, just like it has the sparkle within a mostly this particular album has a sparkle within a modest type sense as far as like the neighborhood type romps, but just in the pitch as far as having something that just is like a full bound kind of blitzer. Just I feel like some of these extra this album does nail some of these extra thoughts type moments mostly, but this is just one that just kind of felt like spare within the sense of just kind of feeling extraneous. So it's just kind of the pitch behind it. But then St. Louis alumni didn't really even have any of the St. Lunatics on here. It was just by some folks named the St. Louis alumni. So it's just a weird type pitch that Ollie's not really even on that song. Just didn't really appreciate that one. It's just kind of an extra type song that just felt kind of another one that didn't really feel too much of real. It's kind of felt like a strange placement on the album as far as this pitch kind of went, but it's just kind of the appeal. So it's just kind of an extra type one. But yeah, there's just some nice ones on here. So I'd probably say an immediate one to go for in terms of like the second most popular song. I'd say after Bugetto, the single would probably be Wiggle Wiggle. Now this does have a Nelly hook on here, which Nelly does not do a ton of hooks on this project as far as this fair is going to happen. He is at least on a number of songs, which one of which was an awkward song to kind of put on here was Collection Plate. Now I'm not going to talk about that one. You would think that there's actually 16 songs in this project, but Collection Plate's not really a song as much as it's just like a skit. I mean, it has like a hip hop beat on there, just kind of in like a skit type format. It's just most of them talking over like a hip hop beat that is just within the format of a song. So I'm not going to rank that one, but it does have the St. Lunatics on that one. But I'm not going to talk about Collection Plate. But Wiggle Wiggle is probably the second most immediate song on here. It has a Nelly hook, just like some of those type ones. Like when you think of Where the Party At, when you think of, by Jagged Edge, Jagged Edge and Nelly, some of those type pitches, Where the Party At by them, and then like, Midwest Swing and like EI and some of those type pitches and Batter Up, some of those type fairs. Just a nice one that Nelly basically helped out Ollie with like a relative pretty boisterous, probably could have been a decent second single within the pitch, but this is like a neighborhood hop. Wiggle Wiggle's like a neighborhood hop. I'd have to say just down low, kind of Nelly, just within the sense that has supposed to just get crunk, more in between version of like the St. Lunatics that I'd say within those pitches. So it's just good concepts, same sort of This same sort of DL type fare of like Bugetto, just in the pitch behind as far as those aspects going to go. Just some real nice quality just within appeal. And it's really like the glamour and the overall lane of this particular product kind of makes you wish that there was a second kind of Ali album. Now, there is an Ali and Gip album from 2007 where the particular budget is increased quite a bit within those fares. I want to say that Ali and Gip probably did become millionaires. Like, I don't know if Ollie was a millionaire. I think he probably was relatively like a millionaire back in 2002, at least rich enough to be able to drop some albums within the pitch, but he might have been worth like 300,000, 150,000, something like that. It was just in the pitch as far as saying some good aspects, going to get some of these type moments. So I do feel like the budget is definitely here, but it's just kind of in a more just relative Tech Nine type territory. Just keep saying that within those pitches. So some good tight tones. Another highlight on here will be Oreo Oreo. It's real nice appeal. This is probably one that has like a lot of good radio jingle type appeal about it. It's like a teaming kind of evening summer glaze kind of get here. Definite spark if you had to say spark a few late ones. Just after like some day shift, I'd have to say about these tones is some good drift music and some overall hot song kind of get. Some of these type songs just feel like something that Nelly would do kind of in a more evening type sense. So it's just within the pitch of like a country grammar hot shit or like EI type song within some of those type pitches. Is that summer twang, Midwest swing, some of those type pitches, just more at like 7:30, 8 p.m. is like the night starting to wind down as far as those pitches gonna happen. Just getting towards like figuring out what you're gonna do. Just some late smoke sessions with homies, I'd say. Some good drift music, definitely about that one. Now, one of these extra songs that's a bonus song. I want to talk about this one just in the appeal because it's a pretty immediate type one. Definitely like I would definitely separate this song and listen to it just from the other three songs that are attached to this song. And like, I don't know if it's just attached to like all four songs, like the CD variation or when you purchase the album. It's just a good type of feel. So Walk Away with Nelly and Miss Twa is a nice one. It's like a good malaise kind of evening stretch kind of get here to some summer heat rumination. I would definitely feel like in a great radio grab I'd have to say, and it's like a good Nelly substitute within those pitches as far as that aspect kind of goes along with it. So it's just one of those ones. Feels kind of like just like a 2000s version of Just a Dream, just one of those Heartland type stretched out ones just within the pitch. It's a real nice country pride kind of malaise about it. Just those acoustic twangs as far as those aspects going to go. It's something that feels like great for like a 4:30, 6:30 p.m. type glaze just in the pitch, like some cruise runs within those aspects. It's really nice, really knocks out the appeal behind that. It has like some good aspects. This is probably one that has like the most commercial kind of aspects and like a vanilla type appeal. This is probably one that I would have chosen for like a single within a relative type sense. This would have been a good, nice aspect to have got for like some relative type grabs that probably would have had like some good stardom in terms of like songwriting pitches like that. Would have been a nice one. Probably would have went with Bugetto, Wiggle Wiggle, Oreo Oreo, and Walk Away. Some of those type tones. So those would have been some nice products that like some commercial type appeals. But Serious, another of these bonus songs that's attached in like a 4 song format. It's a nice one. It's like a springtime and summer kind of balm kind of get here. It's like a frolic version of like Ludacris's Rollout Move or My Business within some of those type pitches. Same sort of lyric type format within that one. It's like a typical kind of local product. So some of these type ones are just like some further kind of St. Lunatics Andex just within the summer type fare of it. This is more product of the summer, just like Nelly usually was in the early 2000s within those pitches. It really feels like some springtime summer balance. So just some good aspects there, just within those aspects. There's just some good aspects there within those tones. I say good type appeals. Drop Top is a nice one as well, and this is a pretty basic type one. This is one of the most basic songs off this album. I'd say it's like a typical kind of Monday and Tuesday dredge kind of get here to some evening relief. I would definitely feel like grab some Burger King, simple kind of unwind and drive as far as this pitch kind of go. It's really the product that just like this routine kind of makeshift drew just within the pitch behind it, just a more kind of urban type sense just an aspect. Not quite as cut loose as songs like Bugetto and Wiggle Wiggle, some of those type ones, not quite as malaise, just in a more vanilla kind of country fried type sense like Walk Away, but just within the pitch of just something. This feels like a typical kind of weekday type fare just in the pitch behind it. Still has some tasks yet to get to for the next few days just from the pitch behind it, but just some aspects of just grabs like some brief food, maybe getting like some smokes and getting some simple errands done, some swishers, some lighters, some donuts, some of those type pitches, just with an aspect, this basic kind of errand type music, like an evening type sense. So it's good type tone for that. I'd say Passing Me By is a nice one. Now this one was almost an almost song, but I do like the mostly appeal of this particular one. I mean, this is a high enough recommend to be able to say that, but it's just from the pitch that maybe the gimmick about this song may be a little bit mildly grating, but it's within the pitch it is pretty nice appeal. It's like a snazzy kind of early 2000s night venue beat to kind of get within those aspects. This probably has another one of the most commercial ones on here. I'd say this one along with Walk Away and probably Wiggle Wiggle and Bugetto are some of the ones with the most immediate fashion, but it's like some definite good dance music kind of get here, just a basic kind of hot radio jingle within some of those aspects. It's kind of concept of that, just like big timers with oh yeah, some of those type pitch stuff. This is a gimmick type song within the pitch behind. It's just kind of the concept that at least Ali, there is an extra chick on this particular song. chick on the song named Toya that doesn't have that particular appeal, but it's just an aspect that both all these verses kind of have that particular aspect of just sticking with the song's gimmick. It's a good type song. I think it was just intended to be like a basic kind of radio jingle, to something that's simplistic and easy kind of narrate within those pitches, but it's just kind of within the tone that just goes along with it. So this is kind of one that possibly this is one that might have a learning curve towards it, but it's just from the pitch. It is a good song and it is pretty radio ready within the pitch behind it. This nice commercial bound type one like Walk Away. Bushetto. I got this as a pretty quality one. Now this is an interesting type one here to kind of get. It's like a super smoked out kind of neighborhood crusades kind of get here. Just some hookah lounge type music. Definitely, I feel like and feeling exotic kind of fun to kind of get about this one. So it's just definitely this would definitely be like some head shop and kind of smoke bar type lounges within those aspects about the tone behind it. Just basically kind of feeling good. This is an aspect of like some neighborhood type romps just within the pitch, but just kind of in a more kind of just smoke centric type aspect just within the pitch. Some good homies type music. Just the aspect of maybe smoking more zigzags more so than like typical kind of just more bongs and zigzags within the pitch. It is something a little bit more hippie like within the aspects behind it. It's just some good type tones for some of that type of feel. Unexpected for Ali as far as those pitches can happen. Nelly has not really done a song like this. So it's just a little bit more of like a trippy type song within the aspect. Just more 60s, 70s bound, Woodstock type stuff. Good type of appeals for that. Which I think of some other songs I haven't talked about on here like Cool as Hell is a pretty quality one. That's another one that has like the Saint Lunatics as a whole on here. It's like a vintage kind of Saint Lunatics posse cut to kind of get just a hot box to whip on like a muggy summer. It'd be like a good song to hot box to whip on like a muggy kind of summer evening. And I had to say, and it's like some good work relief with your pals as far as this aspect's gonna go. So there's a concept of some of your buds and you just work at the same job pit. If some of your buds and you work at some of the same jobs pitch, just like that, it's just a good product to just smoke up the. This is just a good product to some of your buds and you work at like the same job, just some pitches like that, just smoke up the whips and those type fairs. Just have some snacks in the car, some pizza in the web, things like that. Just some good snack is some of that type fare. Just while out, just listen to the lyrics. Just some good product. It just like some good combo pitches like that. It just like some good summertime. So some good aspects. I want to say that Nelly didn't really do as much full bound kind of hot box songs. It's typically more East Coast type format. It was a good type of feel to get this one. 360 Degrees is a nice one as well. It's like a twangy kind of summer evening cruise around. I'd have to say here, just a good night version of like some country grammar house within those pitches. Yeah, just some night versions of like country grammar type of feels just within those aspects. Pretty similar like Oreo, some of those type ones just within the pitch behind it. Just good aspects there. Just would have to say, this kind of this summer fried just in the pitch is basically, just same standard, just like a third helping of like country grammar and Free City, some of those type pitches, just consistent aspects about some of that appeal. That's kind of some good tones because Nellyville didn't have as much full bound kind of summer romps within those pitches compared to songs like Thodem Rappas off of Country Grammar, compared to some of those songs like Thodem Rappas off of Country Grammar and Other Side and like Batter Up, some of those type ones. It just felt like consistent kind of backyard summer music within some of those type tones. I feel like 360 Degrees just carries off some of those legacies even further. So some good type pitches for that. No is a pretty vicious one as well. This feels like a down low version of like Air Force Ones by Nelly from 2002. So it's kind of a primer for that, considering that this song came out first. It's kind of a local hop and like an after work shift. This song is like a local hop and kind of some after work shift relief to kind of get here, and a great song to get crunk to within those aspects. It's just good homies type product within some of those type pitches, just further kind of summer type fare within the aspects behind it. Just some excellence type appeal. This good neighborhood type romps within the pitch behind it. Just good local commotion, some of those type pitches. Crucial is a pretty quality one within those aspects. I think this wraps up the rest of the promotion of this product, or the rest of the talk of the sounds for us. That's first going to happen. So it's like a good neighborhood kind of late day straightening to kind of get here. Just grab supplies, box of beers, some of those type pitches, head to Benny's as far as those aspects going to go. This is a real good in between type song, just figuring out what's going to happen after like the work shift type commerce within the pitch. More songs kind of like Walk Away and some of those type ones, and Drop Top, some of those type of appeals. I mean, the aspect behind this album is it's not as full bound like amidst like the makeshift as full bound. Like it doesn't have like that particular full bound kind of crossover type of appeal, but it's just the aspect as far as having just that summer heat kind of dredge of like evenings of like 5:45 p.m. pitches like that, just where the sun is red out pitch, some of those type fares, just some good aspects to kind of figure out what to do in like a more just kind of contemporary type aspect within it. So it's just good type of appeal. Songs like Oreo, Crucial, some of those type ones, Drop Top within a relative sense, and songs like I Got This, some of those type ones, Wiggle Wiggle are just some good type ones for like the aspect of dislike. Some good type of appeals for picking up some boxes of beer, some donuts, some of those type pitches, getting like some good products and some extra type fare, just like supplies for like some good appeals behind it. So there's not really this full bound kind of like house party type crazes. I feel like Nelly had a little bit more few. I feel like Nelly had a few more smashes off this product. Like I said, Bugetto and Wiggle. I'd probably say Bugetto and Wiggle Wiggle are probably the largest ones within some of those type tones. But I just look within the aspect that it mostly has like the glitz and glamour. It's in like a more relief type sentence. It's just within the appeal as far as saying that it has the social pizzazz about it, but it just is not as crazy as Nelly as far as those aspects kind of go. It just has a little bit more delivery, more so than full bound kind of carnage. It's just in the pitch, but I do feel like songs like Bugetto, Wiggle Wiggle, Passing Me By, a little bit of like I Got This within a certain type sense, and possibly Cool as Hell within like a hot box type sense. That's some relative social spark about them. But if you're expecting like Country Grammar, Hot Shit, you're expecting EI, if you're expecting Batter Up, some of those type ones, Hot in Here definitely, and like Air Force Ones and Pimp Juice, it just doesn't have that full bound. It's not to say this is a bad product, it's kind of more social commotion, like a more smoother type sense. It's kind of politicking type sense that I say within aspects. So this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score as a result, I'll probably give the social score like a 9.5 out of 10 just within the pitch because it does have some quality on here. I do like the overall appeal of this product, but it just is not as full bound explosive within the pitch as far as knocking these particular songs out and just being able to have like just between like not having a commercial dynamite type song within the mostly aspect about it and this kind of aspect of the energy is just not as full bound ferocious. It's just not to say like these are natches full bound to like this particular product, but it's just within the appeal that a lot of this can kind of feel, when like that cat said this is kind of goon bag type music. Not to say it's like that, but it's just within the pitch. It just kind of lacks something that's like the killer type song to be able to say that this is the reason why you're purchasing this product. Not to say it's bad. This music is definitely good. It's just that it takes a milder, sharper learning curve compared to like Nelly or even Saint Lunatics. Like Saint Lunatics has like a relatively mild learning curve. That one is at least something that has like the bops on there that Nelly puts like some hooks on there and just has some aspects like some further hits that are just like extra Nelly songs. But this particular one is just kind of like a commercial version of Tech Nine, just like a Nelly flavor, just with an aspect. It just feels a lot more neighborhood bronze pitches like that, Red Cup type music, and like a more kind of politicking type sense, just with an aspect behind it. So it's just the tone as far as knowing that it's just more social pizzazz, just the aspect of just like more here and there moments, more so than the actual aspect of something dynamite that's gonna get you in the dance club shaking your rear as far as those pitches kind of have shaking your ass in the dance club, some of those type blissing type moments. It's the same thing. Probably needed like a full bound kind of lady smash on here as well. I'd say just in the pitch, but other than that, it's got some good. Other than that, has some pretty excellent appeals. So in terms of the future, like Ollie has not dropped an album since 2007. Now I looked on his Rate Your Music profile, and he does at least have two mixtapes, which I'm gonna have to get to as well as far as this pitch gonna happen. But I do definitely want to get to the Kinfolk album from 2007. Some definite excellent type of appeals here. Basic classic kind of get within those aspects. It's kind of a more off to the wayside type classic, but still a classic nonetheless, and definitely recommendable within a most sense, just in terms just minus like the commercial aspects of it.